So the last type of reaction that you're going to do that we learned in Honors Chem, and there's actually two other ones that we didn't learn in Honors Chem that we're going to look at in detail, which are acid and base reactions. And buffers are coming back in their glory. I know you guys hated buffers. Well, buffers are coming back in their full glory. And also something called oxidation-reduction reactions, which in AP Bio we talked about oxidation and reduction reactions when we were talking about photosynthesis and respiration. In chemistry, we actually never talked about oxidation and reduction reactions. But they're also going to rear back their ugly head. So in a double replacement reaction, okay, what happens is you react two solutions, so two compounds dissolved in water, okay? And then if the reaction occurs, you produce a solid product, which is known as the precipitate. If when doing the reaction, okay, you don't get a solid product, or you don't get something that's insoluble in water, then the reaction does not occur, okay? Now, you need to memorize this table to some extent. When I was at the conference, they really said that really this one was really the only column that's important, that you really need to memorize. And that they'll kind of tell you in the problem whether or not something is soluble or insoluble, okay? But remember, if something is soluble, it gets the symbol AQ, because that means it dissolves, so that means soluble. And if something is insoluble, it gets the symbol S. Okay, remember, for the reaction to occur, okay, you have to get, okay, one compound in the products that is S. So obviously this will make more sense if you're confused. This will make more sense while we're doing it. So again, first I have to write the formulas. So Na is sodium, and it's +1. And phosphate, which is the polyatomic ion, is PO4 minus 3. Crisscross. Na3, PO4. That's the first compound, and it's AQ, dissolved in water. Plus calcium oxide. Calcium iodide. Calcium's +2. Iodide's -1. So we're going to crisscross. We're going to get Ca1, I2, arrow. Okay, now what you're going to do is the metal here is going to go with the non-metal here, and the metal here is going to go with the non-metal here. We're not going to write any of the little numbers unless they're part of the polyatomic. So Ca is going to be with PO4, and it doesn't matter which order you write them. Na is going to be with I. Okay, so now we wrote the new. Let's to just be right. Let's check the formulas. So after you make the new pairs, you check the formulas, make sure the charges are good. This is +2. This is -3. They're not the same, so we got to crisscross. This gets a 3. This gets a 2. And then this is +1. That's -1. They're the same, so we don't have to do anything. Okay, now we have to see if this reaction occurs. Okay, I've told you that you have to memorize. Okay, that group 1 ions are already soluble. So this one is AQ. What that means, and I'm going to show you in a second, is it dissolves in water. Okay. This one, okay, remember this table is of only compounds that are soluble. Group 2, right, there's no calcium here. This is not on this list. So that doesn't mean it's not soluble. And then PO4 is also not on this list. So this is S. So since we have one that is S, okay, that means that this reaction occurs. Now, what this means, okay, is if you mix these two in a beaker, okay, so you're taking this, which is a solution, and this is a solution. So this dissolved in water, and this dissolved in water. What you would find at the bottom in the product is you have this as a solid after it's settled to the bottom, and then this would dissolve, so you would have its ions dissolved in water, not together. You remember when we did that make 2 grams of a compound lab, when you made the white solid that made Chad's face smile, if you guys remember from block 7? What you were producing, a precipitate. That white solid that you produced was a precipitate, and if you remember, you poured it into a funnel into filter paper, and the white solid stayed on the filter paper, and this dissolved in water went down into the flask that you were filtering it into. But the point is in a double replacement reaction, you need to produce a solid product, okay, which doesn't dissolve. and that will be the product of a reaction. When we get back to school in August, one of the first things that I didn't teach you that I probably should have in Honors Chem is we have to learn how to, there's another way to write this, which is called a net ionic equation, which is annoying, and we're going to have to learn how to do that. But I decided not to include that on this assignment. Alright, so let's do the next one. So I'm going to skip the formula writing part, because I think by this point you either like get the formula writing point. If you don't get the formula writing part, you need to ask. Okay? I am more than happy to help you with any of this at any time. Okay? So lithium bromide, LiBr, and ammonium sulfate, NH4, 2, that. So that's good. Alright, again, we're going to mix the partners, swap the first one with the second one. So the lithium here is going to go with the second one here, or the first one. I mean, metal, non-metal, but you also, the first one in this compound is going to go with the second one in this compound. Change colors. So lithium is going to go with SO4, and then NH4 is going to go with Br. Notice how, just so I included this 4 because it's part of the polyatomic ion, but not that 2. Okay, so now we need to balance the reaction. I mean, not balance, we need to check the formulas. So this is +1, gotta memorize that. Sulfate, -2. Crisscross. So we need a 2 here. This is +1, that's -1. So everything's good. Alright, now before we balance, oh, and actually up here, I'm lame. Up here I forgot to balance. These reactions always need to be balanced. I've done a lot of balancing, I'll do it quickly. So we got a calcium problem. We gotta put a 3 here. Iodine problem, 6. And put a 2. Balance. Okay. Now, back to, forgot that. Let's see if this reaction occurs. So, lithium, here, if you look up here, is a group 1 ion. So, it's going to dissolve. It's on that list of being soluble. So it gets AQ. And NH4 is also on this list of things that are soluble. So it's also AQ. And so it's also going to dissolve. And then because they're both AQ, this whole thing doesn't occur. No reaction. And if you think about it, why this doesn't occur is that in the beginning, this is dissolved in water, and this is dissolved in water. So in the beaker, you have some Li ions, some Br ions, some NH4 ions, and some SA4 ions, and then you mix them together, and these also dissolve in water, right? So you still have Li ions, SO4 ions, NH4 ions, Br ions. And so you don't get any different. So reaction doesn't occur. Alright. This has been the longest one so far. Alright. Enjoy the questions. I think this is, I don't know what part it is, but it's video 3. Enjoy.